Breaking news coming in from West Bengal. It seems Mamata Banerjee is leading a protest march against the SIR exercise, which is the Special Intensive Revision of the Electoral Roll. The phase 2 of that exercise has kicked off in India in many states, and West Bengal is one of those states. Mamata Banerjee, who's been raising her voice against this exercise, is leading a protest march in Kolkata, as you can see on your screens right now. These visuals are coming live from Kolkata. She has hit the streets of Kolkata and leading a protest march. TMC Netas along with her joining this march and walking behind her. Now this SIR showdown is on the boil in Kolkata as Mamata Banerjee, who has been repeatedly criticizing the exercise and saying that this is an attempt from the central government to take away the voting rights of the minorities in the weak. There on the streets of Kolkata right now. Joining us right now is India Today's Indrajit Kundu. Indrajit, tell us, what is Mamata Banerjee marching against?
Well, this is a mega protest rally organized by the Trinamool Congress, the first of its kind as far as the SIR exercise is concerned, and it comes on a very day when the Election Commission has begun the SIR process in the state. You would know that the hundreds and thousands of block level officers, booth level officers, BLOs will be out and visiting various voters' houses to distribute enumeration form. And the Trinamool Congress has, of course, chosen this very day to protest, to register its protest opposing the SIR exercise at a time when other opposition parties, be it the DMK or the Congress, have also opposed this exercise. They're calling it backdoor NRC. The Trinamool Congress says this is backdoor NRC, and shortly from now I'll be able to show you Mamata Banerjee leading the rally along with Trinamool Congress second in command Abhishek Banerjee. This mega show of strength and protest march by the Trinamool Congress. They don't want to get rid of this opportunity to hit out at the central government and the BJP at the same time. Remember, similar mega protest was witnessed by West Bengal during the CAA NRC movement a few years back. And once again, what we are seeing, of course, is that Mamata Banerjee and the Trinamool top brass have taken to the streets to hit home the point at a time when the BJP is upping the ante in West Bengal, saying that once the SIR exercise is conducted, at least 1 crore and more voters, bogus voters, would be deleted from the voters list. Now that has become a huge flashpoint here in the politics of West Bengal, with the Trinamool Congress claiming that how is it that the opposition BJP, which of course is in power at the center, how are they being able to give such a number that 1 crore, 1.5 crore people will be deleted from the voters list? So that has become a flashpoint really, Anjali, with the BJP saying and upping the rhetoric that lakhs and crores of voters would be deleted because they believe that those are illegal Bangladeshi infiltrators. Now, West Bengal is a state which shares a few thousand kilometers of porous border with Bangladesh, and this is a very, very sensitive issue given the shared history between India and Bangladesh. Ever since the formation of Bangladesh in 1970s, before that and even after that, in various decades, we've seen hordes of people coming in from the other side. A lot of them, of course, Hindu refugees. Now, those Hindu refugees, mostly from the Matua community in the bordering districts, there is also an anxiety amongst the Matua community members. And we've seen that today at this rally, led by the Trinamool Congress, Matua community members have also joined. Now they form a very, very crucial vote bank here in West Bengal. And the BJP, with their promise to bring in CAA, had got the full backing and support of the Matua community in the past successive elections, be it the 2019 Lok Sabha election or the 2021 Assembly and last year's Lok Sabha election. So at this point in time, this SIR exercise has taken full political proportions. It's a flashpoint between the opposition and the ruling Trinamool Congress, and as you can see, we are right at the heart of Kolkata. This is the Esplanade area, and a huge gathering of people. People are out on the streets. Trinamool Congress supporters are out on the streets. It's a weekday. So, of course, office goers, they're all, out here trying to catch a glimpse of Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee. And, of course, Trinamool Congress and Mamata Banerjee doing what they do best. This is her USP. Mamata Banerjee has risen up from such street protests.
Absolutely, Indrajit. Mamata Banerjee is at it again, walking and registering her protest. But BJP is calling it a drama to save infiltrators.
It's not a political program. It's a program of Jamaat Michil led by Khala Mamata Banerjee. A particular community participated. The TMC, the Mamata Banerjee is trying to protect the Muslims, Bangladeshi Muslims.
And now it's time to cut across to Sakshi Batra of Business Today with all the updates of the markets. Sakshi, over to you.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Market Closing Show. This is our collab show between Business Today and India Today Television. It's 3 p.m. I'm Sakshi Batra and we are going to be getting you all the market closing action right here. First up, let's take a look at what's hot in the corporate and the financial space. Markets trade weak as Sensex slips over 400 points and the Nifty also falls 140 points to near 25,600 mark on the weekly expiry session. Selling pressure is visible across key sectors, IT, autos, banking, metals also dragging in pace. You're also looking at the broader markets now trading subdued. India's largest lender, State Bank of India, reports better than expected Q2 results. Profit jumps by 10% as its asset quality has improved. Stock is trading in the green. Mahindra & Mahindra also has reported strong quarter as its SUVs have driven higher margins and stronger profits for the company. It's a hot day for IPOs. Investment app Grow's IPO has opened for subscription. Retail portion has got fully subscribed on day one. Overall bids are at 45% so far. Company has raised 2,984 crore rupees from anchor investors. Meanwhile, Lenskart IPO has got 15 times subscription so far on the final day. Grey market premium although has slipped to 59. The government may scrap nearly 20% of planned renewable capacity as 42 gigawatts of green projects lack buyers among state utilities. Bloomberg has reported, citing sources, that the Power Ministry has advised shelving unviable projects. In big relief for flyers, DGCA has proposed allowing air passengers to cancel or modify tickets within 48 hours without extra charges. Draft norms mandate refunds within 21 days, free name corrections within 24 hours. Let's straight away look at the big breaking. That's with respect to Adani Enterprises, the flagship company of the Adani Group that has reported its Q2 results right now. The profit is up by 84%, now at 3,199 odd crore rupees. This is a year-on-year surge of 84% for the company on the bottom line that we are seeing. Look at the revenue figure. This has come at 6% lower at 21,248 odd crore rupees. So the profitability jump has come in despite the dip on the top line. Look at the EBITDA. This is the operational profit that the company is looking at. This has slipped by 23% at 3,407 odd crore rupees. Margins have lowered at 16% vis-a-vis 19.7%. This reflection clearly being seen on the stock price right now, 2,424 as the current level for Adani Enterprises. That's down by about 1.5 to almost 2% lower in trade. So you are seeing mixed numbers coming in. Even though the bottom line has improved, it is coming at a cost of the operational hit that the company has managed to give at this point in time as well. And therefore, you do see that sharp spike down down that in trade that we saw for Adani Enterprises just moments before we started the show as well. There is, however, some uptick now from that bottom line that we are looking at this point for the markets. Let me also look at how some of the other sectors and stocks are moving in the last half an hour of trade. All the sectors are down into the red, viewers. Talk about PSU banks, financial services, broader markets, IT, auto, metals, everything is in a sea of red as of now. Only a handful of names, about 8-10 stocks on the Nifty that are still managing to hold themselves into the green. Titan post earnings is up, it's the top mover, 2.5% higher. Titan is the eyewear to even jewelry maker from Tanishq. That is, hovering high about 2.5% up. Bharti Airtel is also up in trade about 2% higher. You have Bajaj Finance. State Bank of India has reported its results and therefore you can see an almost uptick of 1% odd. M&M from the auto space is also higher by nearly 1% after reporting better than expected results there too. But what is dragging on the street? Clearly, when we look at the top drags in terms of the stocks that are falling, you have Power Grid, you have Eternal, that's the parent company of Zomato, not doing well today. You're also looking at Hero Moto down by about 4% odd. ONGC, Tata Motors, these are all the stocks that are truly dragging in trade. But let me help you just get a sense of what kind of earnings have we been seeing at this point in time apart from Adani Enterprises. Let's look at SBI. The profit has jumped by about 10% year on year to now come in at 20,160 crore rupees. This has beaten estimates for the street as well, as we are going to given to understand. And this is also in sync with a lot of PSU banking earnings that we have been getting as well. Let me also look at some of the other earnings. M&M, that's Mahindra and Mahindra, has posted a profitability figure, that's profit after tax, which has jumped by 16% year on year to 3,673 odd crores. So those are the two big numbers that have come in. From the Adani pack, you also have had Adani Ports report its numbers today. Net profit here has jumped by 27% year on year at 3,109 odd crores. But let's get our guest now. Shahina Mukadam joins in, market expert, to give us a sense of how the markets are looking at this point in time. Shahina, warm welcome. Good afternoon to you. Well, first up, 25,600 has been breached on the lower end. We have been seeing a long haul of a lackluster move on the D Street. It's the weekly expiry. We have a truncated holiday. Tomorrow the stock markets won't function on account of Guru Nanak Jayanti. What do you think is the key reason why the markets are consistently slipping, breaking all sorts of important levels at this point in time and not really bouncing back to that attempted 26,000 mark?
Yeah, so we are actually seeing some FI selling that has started coming in. And while October was a good month, now the levels that we are, I think these are support levels. So I hope that, we will close above these levels or close to these levels, because any fall beyond that will actually take us another 100, 200 points lower on the Nifty. So let us see how the market will close.
Okay. Shahina, help me understand, what are you making of the earnings so far? You have seen today Adani Enterprises, Adani Ports coming in, Adani Enterprises just now coming in, mixed set of numbers. There's a stock has slipped after that. We have State Bank of India, we have M&Ms. These are the big numbers that have actually come in today. What has stood out for you?
Well, the numbers have been quite good. Adani Enterprises has actually also announced simultaneously a rights issue. So that could maybe keep the stock at or consolidate at current levels for some time. But there's a lot happening in Adani Enterprise also. So if one was to participate, I would say you could participate in the rights. Adani Ports came out with good numbers in my view, while volumes were slightly lower. But I think overall the numbers were good. And in terms of the projects that they have on hand, in terms of going forward, I think it's pretty good. So Adani Ports also looks good in that space. Otherwise, the numbers were good for SBI. In my view, to an extent, yes, we did see the impact of, the positive impact of the sale of the Yes Bank, sort of supporting their overall profits. And if you excluded that, there was some bit of disappointment. But I think with the asset quality being so good and improving actually for the quarter, both on YOY as well as QO basis, I think valuations are very attractive for SBI. So if one is looking to invest, it makes sense to invest for the longer term, definitely at current levels. M&M numbers were also good, but their valuations are a bit expensive on the higher side. So if one was to look to add, I would say that better to add it at lower levels. They are doing pretty well in terms of volumes, both in tractors as well as at their series. But I would say okay, you can wait to add it at lower levels.
Okay, fair point. And let's also focus on some of the other conglomerates and the stocks there too. Reliance Group, this is the Anil Dhirubhai Ambani group of stocks that are back in focus, although for the negative reasons. Reliance Infra was at the lower circuit all day. Reliance Power is also down more than 6%. This is all after the action by Enforcement Directorate that we've seen on the companies. Now remember, the probe agency yesterday has attached over 132 acres of land belonging to Dhirubhai Ambani Knowledge City in Navi Mumbai worth 4,463 crore rupees. This was also in connection with the bank fraud case involving Anil Ambani's Reliance Communications. The attachments were made under the provisions of Prevention of Money Laundering Act and followed earlier seizures of 42 properties worth 3,083 crore rupees in related to the cases of Reliance Communications, Reliance Commercial Finance and Reliance Home Finance. This also takes the cumulative attachment of properties in the group to 7,500 crore rupees and over that. Reliance Infra has already clarified that the seizures have had no impact on the business and that Anil Ambani is not on the board of the company for the past 3.5 years, but the stocks are definitely lower. Shahina, let me come to you with and reaction to what's happening in the ADAG group for that matter. Remember, in the beginning of this year, there were a lot of positive news flows that pulled up these stocks higher in trade in hopes that perhaps the bad news is already done and dusted, it's buried, things are looking up for the company. A lot of statements coming in from the company that how they have attained a debt-free status as well. All of that really pulled up the stock on the stocks of the companies pretty much higher. And it's now again when these newer developments are coming to fore, more attachment of properties in the money laundering cases that have further led to pulling down of the sentiments there. What are you advising investors at this point on this group?
Well, it is better to avoid. Even if you see something like a Reliance Infra, the stock has corrected quite a bit from its highs in the last couple of weeks. But at the same time, I would say better to avoid. It's never good to start investing when the stock or when the promoter group is involved in government, litigation. So I would say it's better to avoid.
Fair point. Let's actually move forward and now focus on the aviation space. In fact, there's some good news coming in for all the travelers and flyers out there. Remember the hefty charges used to pay on cancellation or modifying air tickets? That could soon be a thing of the past. In a major relief for flyers, aviation regulator, the DGCA, has now proposed a 48-hour window in which passengers can now cancel or amend their tickets without any additional charges. This has now increased flexibility. Detailed in the draft rules known as Civil Aviation Requirement, now seek to make refunds faster, fairer and more transparent for passengers as well. Remember, this facility will only be available for flights departing after a minimum of 5 days after the cancellation or change has been incurred. For international flights, the period is now 15 days and further tickets will have to be refunded now within 21 working days as well. In fact, Karishma is joining in for more on this entire detailed issue as well. My colleague Karishma Sudani is with us. Karishma, seems like good news finally for travelers coming in. There are so many times that viewers and all the flyers are stuck with an emergency situation and they have to take a measure to cancel their tickets or to modify their tickets. What was the scenario so far? What kind of charges used to apply? And now seems like we are going to be seeing this good news come in when we do have a 48-hour window to make any of those modifications.
Sakshi, until now, the purview was mostly lying and resting with the individual airlines because let's not forget that aviation is a deregulated sector, and despite the fact that we have a regulated DGCA, it cannot really personally intervene in the affairs and decisions of private airlines. And now, if we look at it, all the airlines in the country are vested in the hands of private sector. So DGCA's this recommendation or amendment that's coming in with the civil aviation regulation, it's coming in because of the numerous complaints that have come in the past few months. In fact, DGCA has also said that despite the fact that it's deregulated, they want to involve in this and seek comments until the end of this month to understand if the airlines are on board with this structure. Now, what we're picking up from our sources with the aviation companies is that it's not going to be a very sweet spot situation for them, because this not only requires a lot of resources, but will also do away with the fact that they may have to let go of a lot of revenue, which by the way has also been a way that was fetching them. So quite a seesaw situation, but let's see what happens after the consultation is completed.
Absolutely. Well, we will have to wait for the aviation companies to also come on board there and agree to all of this, and then see whether this will be implemented soon. Thank you so much, Karishma, for that. But keeping our fingers crossed that at least for the consumers at large, this good news is here to stay. Coming back to Shahina. Shahina, aviation industry as a whole, right now we only have one large aviation player. It's a monopoly of sorts, Indigo, that has already been seen as a big wealth creator of the past. Goes on to show that, even the industry has to consolidate even now. It's a difficult industry to be in, difficult business to be in, and to be profitable at that as well. But Indigo has managed to do that so far so well. Let's try and find out whether there is still an opportunity for investors to invest on Indigo's parent Interglobe Aviation at this level as well. And what are you expecting on the overall aviation space?
See, today the results are supposed to be out somewhat later in the day. So you would probably have a good chance to quiz the management on that. Having said that, I think, if you see the corresponding previous year, September, the numbers, they were losses actually. So if you see optically, I'm definitely sure that the numbers will look much better today. Also, given the fact that, crude oil, aviation fuel is the major component of cost for Interglobe as well as the aviation companies. There, I believe they should benefit from lower prices. And they have about 64-65% market share as of now, the only major competitor being the Tata Group. So I think competition is going to be limited between these two. I would say that it could be a buy, but aviation stocks are always, I would say, you have to keep relooking at them. And I would call them more of trading stocks rather than the portfolio stocks, because they're so dependent on where the crude oil prices go. So you have to keep a regular track. As of now, I think, yes, you could make a bet for the next couple of quarters.
Okay, got that. So that's the aviation space tackled. Which are the other sectors, Shahina, that you're really looking at this point in time for, green shoots, for an uptake, or, a positive cycle that's just probably starting out? Are you looking at any key sectors that are giving you that sign already?
I would say, of course, banking remains a good sector to be in, given the fact that I would say second half will be better. But I see green shoots coming out in the metal space. Till now, we have not really seen much happening out there. But I see metal prices forming up. You have copper, you have aluminium. So I think if one is a stock picker, you can start nibbling into some of these stocks with a medium to longer term. Also in FMCG, I think some of the sector has done pretty badly in the last year. So I would say that some selective stocks you could start picking up. Of course, I would say that, the hotel industry has continued to do well, good numbers. So it's basically I would say bottom top approach that you could take going forward.
Okay, fair point. Let's actually also focus on the other buzzing space, and that's the IPO space as well, Shahina. First up, let's actually listen into the management of Grow. This has been the most highly anticipated IPO for a long time now. This is Billion Brains Garage Ventures. This is the parent company of Grow platform, which you all must be knowing in case you track the stock markets and invest in mutual funds as well as stock markets via the platform. It's one of the biggest fintech offerings of this year. here. It is already open for subscription. This is of course a 6,632 crore rupees book built IPO, with large part of it coming in as offer for sale, giving an opportunity for existing investors to exit partially. Priced at 95 rupees to 100 rupees per share. Remember, the retail portion is already fully subscribed on day one, reflecting the strong investor interest as well. The company has already raised 2,984 crores from the anchor investors, and the anchor book was subscribed over 16 times too. Remember, I also spoke to Harsh Jain, the whole-time director and COO of Grow, to talk about the IPO, the company's growth plans going forward, what he feels about the increasing competition in the discounted brokerage space, and whether the company will continue to sustain its growth path it has achieved thus far. Let's listen into what he had to say.
Our growth has been coming because of the nature of the platform. You know, when you build a platform, for the first 4 years, we had zero revenue. So, but then our product market fit was happening. A lot of customers were coming, and then they they retained over the platform for so long, and we kept on offering new and new products. So, as a platform, there's a lot of resilience that gets built in the business, and also a lot of value for the customers to stick around for. Say, for example, someone starts their journey with, say, stocks. You know, over time they will want to do SIPs also. They will want to invest in ETFs. They will put some of their wealth in the bonds also. So they will diversify over time. So that becomes powerful, and every product has its own monetization. So you will see in the most of the tech companies, you will see a slightly delayed monetization, but when they start getting revenues, the operating leverage is very strong. So if you'll see our last 3 years data, which you're referring to, even from the revenue growth point of view, but even from an EBITDA margin point of view also, we've seen significant growth, which will continue happening, because every time you launch a new business or a new product, you already have a lot of customers, plus your cost to offer another thing is not, it's almost negligible, because you're completely tech and you are direct to customers as a platform. So going forward also, we see that there's a lot more potential. What we've seen the last few years from a customer growth point of view was a good start, I would say, because a lot of people have become aware, they've become knowledgeable about it. They got a feel, because around them also people started investing in participating capital market. But when we see from here on where India deserves to be there, there's still a good 5x to 10x growth available from the number of participants itself. Now, for each participant to be able to participate in different products of capital market and engage will also drive over time. So over time, the penetration, the adoption of different products, and then our revenue and our profitability will follow just by the nature of the platform business that we are running.
At this point in time, when larger players, larger conglomerates, like there is a chance that Reliance Industries could be also getting into a big fashion into this space, how are you looking at the increased competition, and what would that do to your own strategies?
See, first thought that comes is that we are right, in thinking that the industry will go 10x from here. Otherwise, you will see that if a lot of people coming in is a signal that you're thinking right in some way. You're validating that industry is still yet to scale a lot. So there's a significant growth. Financial services, we are in a overlap of a financial services and a tech. The way we build our company, it's a significantly tech company in terms of how we operate, how the financials look like, an operating margin and all. But we are solving financial need of customers, so it's in financial services. Now, in the two space, there is a significant moat that comes from a tech point of view. We have all our technology built in-house, almost everything. So that gives us a strong way to it makes us agile. It makes us, very resilient to the changes that are happening, and also gives us a significant competitive advantage in terms of the customer experience.
All right, Shahina, let me come to you. How are you looking at the opportunities within the IPO space? There is enough and more action taking place. There's a tug of war that's taking place between Lenskart and Grow today. There's Pine Labs that's opening in later this week. You have had many big ones that have opened this year already. More to follow. This month alone is expected to have 76,000 odd crore rupees being raised via the IPOs too. So how are you looking at the opportunity there?
I think most of the issues that are coming up, for example, we have Lenskart, we have Grow, they have shown tremendous, performance in terms of what they have achieved in the short period of time. At the same time, I think now that they're coming up with the issue and for retail investors, I'm talking of retail investors who look to buy small quantities. They have not really left much on the table, for any retail investor to go and buy today and expect good returns over the next, I would say, 2 to 3 quarters or even a year. So, in my view, if an investor is buying small quantities, if you're looking at the very long term, yeah, you could, but I think both of them are grossly overpriced for the shorter term. So I would say if you're looking to flip, then it's better to avoid. I would, in fact, if I'm looking at the capital market, like for example, Grow, I'm very positive. I totally agree with the promoter that the long-term prospects are very good. But for brokers, the competition is going to be intense. As you yourself pointed out, Jio is coming in a big way. And there are a lot of existing ones who are also actually upgrading their technology to become more competitive. So I would say better than if you want to participate in the capital markets, like for example, what I have done, invest in the exchanges, like for example, BSC. It's equally expensive, but whichever way the market goes and the competition is going to remain limited. NSE will come up with its IPO by the year end, hopefully. So I would have invested in both of them, and I think these are the places you need to be invested in. You have CDSL, you have NSDL. So I would prefer being in a space where the competition is going to be limited, rather than get into such high valued stocks as of now.
Fantastic, Shahina. So hold that thought. I'll just quickly wrap up the markets. 175 points lower in trade for the Nifty. We've ended below the 25,587 mark right now. About 175 points lower. We're at the lowest point of the day. So this is the weekly expiry session that's actually panned out to be pretty weak for the markets and in a truncated week as well. 0.5% decline for the Nifty Bank. It's been a complete choppy ride throughout the course of the day, and we've ended again on the lower note. This is led by heavy weight sectors like IT, for instance, that's dropped by about 1% in trade. Others that have dragged are metals, autos, also losing their sheen in trade today, 1.5% lower. In fact, all the sectors have actually lost their ground in trade today as well. Only India Wix that's up, that actually goes on to show that the fear is rising in the markets. Handful of the stocks that managed to pull up are Titan, Bharti Airtel, Bajaj Finance, Bajaj Finance, HDFC Life, State Bank of India. But top drags coming in clearly from the IT pack, from the auto pack as well. Power Grid, Adani Enterprises post earnings. Look at Coal India, Tata Motors. These are all the stocks that have dragged in trade today. But let's quickly, wind up. But before that, asking you, Shahina, to pick up one or two stock ideas that you would want to highlight for all our viewers today, so that they can prepare for the next day, that's day after.
I think the market is closed on a weak note, so one needs to be cautious because it can go down by another 150 to 100 points on the Nifty. I think Bharti came out, as you pointed out, with very good numbers. So if one is looking for safe bet, I would say Bharti could look like a decent bet if you're looking at the shorter term.
Fantastic, Shahina. Thank you so much then for being with us on the show, and of course for highlighting all these insights for all our viewers to see. Viewers, time for a break, but we actually leave you with the visuals of two Indian-American entrepreneurs, Adarsh Hiramat as well as Surya Midha, both of whom have actually become world's youngest self-made billionaires. Just 22 years old, the two have broken Meta founder Mark Zuckerberg's record of having become a billionaire at 23. The AI recruiting startup Merkur recently secured $350 million in funding, valuing the company at $10 billion. The duo, who began as high school debate champions in Silicon Valley, now represent a new age of technology disruption and wealth creation. With that, it's a wrap on the Business Today show. Do stay tuned with a lot more news coverage on India Today. And of course, I'll be seeing you now next on Thursday after the market holiday tomorrow.